This week's episode is supported by Form, the first women's prestige hair care collection to celebrate beauty in all its forms. And right about now, we need some celebrations. Every last product in the Form collection is designed to deliver exceptional styling performance without sacrificing the long-term health of your hair. I told you all about how I had that lovely braid out using my Form collection. Get 10% off your entire order when you visit formbeauty.com/grown. That's FORMbeauty.com/grown. Get personal with Form. Hi, sis.
Hello. Needless to say, you are not well. How are you feeling?
Not amazing, but you know, I'll push through. How are you?
I cannot complain. You know, I can breathe out of my nose, so I know that it could be worse.
You're so lucky. What's that like?
Listen, it is great. But welcome one, welcome all, welcome me, welcome you to another episode of Getting Grown with Jade and Keia. Where we're going to talk about all things adulting and how we are just barely making it through. But we're happy to be here. Hopefully, you all are happy as well. Thank you so much for joining us. So what's going on in your world this week, sis? What's happening?
You know, my weeks are always the same. They just fluctuate with the amount of work that I do. And this weekend was a busy one, but I won't complain about it because it's what I asked for. That sounds familiar. So I had like 3 different food events in a span of 2 days. Yes. 2 days, 3 events. Exciting. So that was a lot of
balling. That means that you're rich.
That means that I'm grinding, and this is my time to pay my dues, so that one day I no longer have to.
Making money moves like Cardi B. That's what's up.
Say, little bitch, you come fuck with me if you wanted to. Anyway,
my favorite line is the very first line in the song. Now she says she gonna do what to who? Let's find out and see. Cardi B. I be like, yes, Cardi. Yes.
You know I go up for her.
That is my kind of talk. That is my. Now she says she gonna do what to who? All right, let's find out and see.
If that doesn't sound like Keia.
She's spoken to my spirit man right there. I just remember being in the car like, that's it. Yes.
It was so conversational. It was like, wait, what? She said she's gonna do what?
I said, this is, woo. That's why I changed my name. You'll notice I changed my name on Twitter to Tardy B because I just felt like I had connected with her in such a way. Man, I was just like,
I've been connected to Cardi.
And then she said she gonna do what to who? All right, let's find out and see.
Let's find out and see. Yes, that's your line.
Thank you.
And then it just gets straight to me where it's like, say, little bitch, you can't fuck with me if you wanted to.
Woo. We speak your name,
and I have one pair of Louboutins, so I guess I can speak the language until I get rid of them hoes because they're uncomfortable.
I'm trying to be like you, man. No, I don't have any red bottoms.
Ooh, one pair. Worst shoe I've ever owned.
I have heard that. And from what I understand, Christian is like, I don't care. My shoes are not supposed to be comfortable. They're supposed to make your feet look amazing.
And he's right. I have this it's like partly a round toe, partly pointed toe. I don't know what you call that. And it's a pencil heel. They're like 5 inches high, and I look like Mr. Tumnus when I walk in them. But they're sexy. So you know who Mr. Tumnus is?
I don't, but I was gonna let you have it.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. There's this man who's half goat and half man. The bottom half of him is a goat. The bottom half of his goat, so he has hooves. So therefore, I walk like I'm in hooves when I wear those shoes because they're that god awful uncomfortable.
Well, hopefully I can have a testimony. I know that. I mean, I would like to have a pair of uncomfortable shoes one day because I think they're just amazing. They look pretty. Even if I don't wear them, I think they would be a great addition to my shoe shelf They're a great addition
to, anyway, other parts of your life where you don't have to go in public. But one day, sis, if I could give you mine, I'd give them to you because I hate them. So
no, because my feet are huge, humongous. But God is still on the throne, and He's worthy to be praised
every day.
Praise the Lord, niggas. Let us move forward.
Can you tell us about your week?
Oh, child, it ain't nothing. Oh, but let me take that back. So this week, I had a great week because I was able to to really stand up and flourish in my nerddom. I was typing fast all week. I had a PI project directors meeting at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. I was there for 4 days. It was very intense, but I was like all up in my nerdiness and just flourishing, doing research, asking questions, just being a little snit. Because, you know, that's what research is really all about. You get to be critical of things and just ask questions and, you know, ask the people the hard questions. And this particular project that I'm working on, I'm very excited to work on it because, you know, traditionally when it comes to like, most of you won't care about this, but listen anyway. Traditionally, when we talk about like broadening participation and making academic spaces more inclusive, as far as, you know, having more representation of students of color and faculty of color on college campuses, we tend to lean more toward projects that are like, you know, let's have a bridge program. Let's get the students what they need in order to thrive within these environments. And we're never really critical of the environments themselves and making sure that colleges, college classrooms, dorm rooms, university campuses are safe spaces for students to come and learn and thrive and grow and succeed. So this project that I'm getting to work on is really pushing the envelope on that and teaching project directors how to think more critically about their institutional capacity to make their spaces more equitable. So not just equal, but more equitable, and making sure that we're challenging like systems of oppression and systems of racism that exist within educational infrastructures. So I get to I'm really like jazzed by this. I don't know if anybody can tell, but I'm just like, yes. So we're not just, so it's taking the onus away from students and saying students don't have to change in order to be successful, but institutions should be more adaptable to students of different backgrounds. And I'm just like, this is why I typed fast for all those many, many years.
I know that falls right in line with your study.
Yeah, man. So that's what I got to do this week. And the project was just kicking off, and it's one of many projects. So, you know, this is why I've been so busy and so stressed out. But like you said, this is the work that I prayed to do. So exactly. I'm trying not to complain. And I'm just grateful. And I get to have a little bit of a break this week in that I'm still working, but I don't have to go into the office every day. And I get to be a little bit more flexible with my time. And I still typing fast, but I just don't have to do so in my office, which is a blessing.
Listen.
So yeah, man, that's what's up. So I had a great week. It was really inspiring. It was hard work, but it was like, you know, girl, if you keep working hard, you can do this kind of stuff all the time and get paid more and more money to do it. And that's really what it's all about.
And very few people get to actually do exactly what they went to school for.
Yeah, man. God is awesome. And he's fantastical. Speaking of, so in the spirit of back to school season, I know that is upon us. Yes. I'm thinking about doing... I actually forgot to mention this to you in our pre-recording meeting, sis. I'm sorry. Okay. But I was thinking about doing a back to school moment, a back to school episode.
Yes.
For, you know, students of all ages. You know, my speciality is higher education, but I also, you know, feel like I myself and Jade as well can speak to, you know, different experiences that students have in high school and middle school, and parents. I know you're a mom. So anyone, if you have any back to school questions for Jade and myself, feel free to run those over to Getting Grown podcast@gmail.com. And I'm hoping that either next week or the week after, we can have a formal back to school episode on Getting Grown. Doesn't that sound like fun?
I love that. You know, I'm going to be a back to school wife, but I'm a first time to school mother.
Yes.
So I'm preparing her now to go to school in September. So I'm all the way down for this.
Yes, I too am very excited as well. So let us move on and move forward into shout out to my sis.
Oh, before we get into shout out to my sis, thank you to everybody who's listening, has listened. Make sure you continue to check us out on Spotify, on iTunes, on SoundCloud. Thank you so much for continuing to support and for spreading the word. We're getting all of you guys' responses and how you're passing it along and new listeners every single day. So we welcome you guys.
Yeah, shout out to y'all.
make sure if you're in the New York area this week to come out this Saturday, the 19th, to the Friend Zone Live.
Ow.
To come see our siblings come and do their thing. So you can check that out on their individual pages, and we'll make sure we put a link to the description box. I'm not sure if it's sold out, but you'll find out when you click on it.
I don't think it is yet, but I know it's going to be at the Tisch Auditorium. I'm not entirely sure what time, from what I understand. Oh, for those of you who may need specifics, this is the second year anniversary live show of the Friend Zone.
Yes, 2 years.
We're going to be celebrating them Black people for having 2 years worth of awesome shows. And I believe that Furinasia and Crystal Jean will be hosting.
They will.
Yes, indeed. And I'm pretty sure that Jade and I will be present as well. So come on out and say hey to us this coming Saturday, August 19th. Get your tickets today.
Get your tickets here.
Don't be late or whatever.
So yeah, check out that link in the description box. Shout out to my sis.
Shout it out. Shout it out. Shout it out.
My sis is popping right now, like.
Shout out to my sis, man. We have 2 people to shout out this week.
Yes.
And the first one comes from Naya. Naya says, "Hi there, lovelies. I hope that you are blessed and unbothered." I'm certainly trying. I'm certainly aspiring toward that.
Right on the money, Naya.
Thank you so much for the joy you bring this 5th-year teacher in the Delta every week. I've been listening to Getting Grown since day one and checking for Keia since her wondrous appearance on The Read, Team Typing Fast. Man, that was a long time ago.
It was.
But that was the first time. That was the first time I actually said that I'll be sitting in the corner typing fast.
That's a good time, though.
That's when it was born. But yes, this week, Naya said, this week I wanted to shout out myself because number one, I will be entering my 5th year teaching, and that is no small feat as a Black woman in the rural South. You ain't never lied, sis. And number 2, I put myself out there in a big way this year by not trying to do it all myself, instead asking for help to get my babies ready for an exciting school year. This is so super cool. So Naya took to Twitter and shared her goal of bringing in 1,000 books for her incoming 3rd graders. She created an Amazon wish list, which features her students' top choices as well as books that showcase Black excellence. So far, Naya has been able to get 396 books purchased by perfectly amazing strangers. In her classroom, reading is life. Many of the children who come to me are reading several grade levels behind and or are reluctant readers. This year, they will learn and yearn to read, and I cannot wait to update you on the progress we shall make. And I appreciate you both so much for helping to push me to be vulnerable. In the end, my pride would have blocked my students' blessings. Thanks for all you do, Naya. So Naya has this amazing goal of bringing 1,000 books to her classroom, and I think that we all should help her to reach it.
Absolutely.
And what we will do is we will link Naya's Twitter and the Amazon wish list in the description box. I'm going to do my best with putting my little pennies together to donate a book. I also would like to encourage you all to do the same, because we got to get these babies reading, because reading is absolutely critical and important. We'll talk about that a little bit more in Kitchen Table Talk. But shout out to you, Naya. Shout out to your amazing students, and shout out to all of y'all that are going to help Naya get these 1,000 books, man. Let's do it.
I know I am. I'm definitely donating to the babies. I buy Noah books. Tristan buys Noah books. You know, it's big in our house to read. So I'm definitely going to donate. I know Keia's going to donate. And all we need is like 500 and something of y'all to buy one book. You can come off $6.
That's it.
It's okay. So
that's all.
The link will be in the description box. Use it. Our next shout out to my sis is actually my good sis Santana. Santana was on an episode of Jade and XD, and she's also been featured and won an episode of Chopped. She is the one who I partner with. If you follow me on Instagram and you see a lot of the events that I've had lately, a lot of them have been with her, and you can also check her out in the upcoming season of She's Gotta Have It coming to Netflix Thanksgiving. But Santana is doing, her brand is I'll Cook Like Your Mother, and she's doing a pop-up this Sunday, August 20th. The deadline to buy tickets is Wednesday, the 16th. So it's not a lot of time. Make sure you get in on it. The menu includes things like bacalao guisado, Vietnamese style pork chops marinated in flavors like lemongrass and fish sauce, and fried banana with dulce de leche. She's doing Puerto Rico meets Thailand because she did some studying in Thailand and she's Puerto Rican. So it's going to be It's going to be amazing. She's got homemade toasted coconut popsicles coming. It's BYOB and BYOW. So make sure that you, the judgment in this face you just made.
I don't understand I don't understand how you were able to witness anything. You didn't even see my face because I'm sitting behind the microphone. So
I saw it clearly. I saw the eyes. I saw the head.
First of all, you should continue to read about Santana's flawless food. And don't worry about what's going on over here. Thank you.
I will. It involves me. Mm-hmm. So definitely please check out the link in the description box. There's only a few tickets left, but it's going to be an amazing and delicious time. So check it out.
All right. Y'all go get some food from Santana.
Come through.
This promises to be a wang dang doodle. Kitchen TableTalk this week. Yeah, I mean, amidst all of the things that are taking place in our crazy world, we thought it would be, we got a suggestion actually when I jumped on Instagram Live earlier this weekend to talk about navigating difficult conversations in predominantly white environments as it relates to, race and racism and all the things that are taking place now in our very crazy society. So Jade and I got together and came up with the idea to talk about productive ways to manage ourselves and our work in times of racial tension and unrest. As many of you know, this past weekend, there was a march organized by white nationalists on the campus of University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia. They were marching in protest of, I think it's in protest of a statue of Robert E. Lee, or was it? Is it? Yes. Local officials are planning to remove a statue of Robert E. Lee, a top general in the Confederacy, from Emancipation Park in Charlottesville. And so these white nationalists decided to have a march. Well, that too, yes. These terrorists decided to have a march on the campus that, escalated into a very, very, I don't know, a massacre, pretty much. I don't even know how else to describe it, but
disgusting display
of yes, that unfortunately resulted in the untimely murder of Heather Heyer, a 32-year-old woman who was a part of a group of counter-protesters, people who came in protest to what these white nationalists were protesting about. And it was just ugly. It was like, it seemed like we stepped in a time machine and went back about 40, 50 years. And in addition to Heather's murder, I think it was like 39 people were injured. It was a state of emergency declared in the state of Virginia, because it was literally just all hell was breaking loose. Yeah. So needless to say, this event, I guess we should also mention that y'all's president has really failed to call out white supremacists, white nationalists, and
what it is,
neo-Nazis. And I guess earlier today on Monday, he released a very contrived and vague statement in which he was, denouncing all hate of all kinds, including neo-Nazis and white supremacists, and saying that racism was evil. But that was only after he failed to to call out, after the event happened on Saturday. He failed to respond in a direct way toward these groups, and of course the media and other people, were calling him out and basically discussing how absolutely inappropriate and unfathomable it is that the president of the United States would not call out. So his response was in response to those claims.
It was especially troubling because, the whole thing, but it was especially troubling because these same terrorists were chanting his name while holding up the
absolutely
the Heil Hitler.
And David Duke and some of the other people had come forward saying that basically, so I don't have a direct quote in front of me, but basically citing how Trump was in direct support of what they were doing and, had been pretty much in partnership or cahoots or whatever with him prior to this event, working alongside them in some of the things that he's been doing, throughout his campaign and now after the election. So that being said, we don't want to rehash and talk about this because it's very depressing. But at the same time, we thought it would be useful for us to kind of think through some ways that we as adults or budding adults or just people of color, Black people,
people of color, yes, you're right.
Allies, people of color, allies, people with consciences, people who have, morals and ethics,
morals and sense,
and dealing, it's just ways that we can think about how to productively navigate this crazy time in our history and culture. And so I came up, literally pulled some things out my behind. I'm not claiming to have all the answers, but just thinking about ways that we can try to process and think about what's going on. And truth of the matter is, at work, in public transportation, in social settings, whether it be like at church or club meetings, at the gym, running errands, you're going to come into contact with people who are going to have opinions. We're going to be confronted with all kinds of experiences. All kinds of personalities. People are going to have things to say in response to what's going on in our society. And I just thought it would be cool for us to talk about ways that we can be ready to deal with those conversations and not be caught off guard so that we can handle ourselves productively, if that makes sense.
Especially because, and not to continue to rehash, but just to, because it's so important. A lot of these people who are marching, we have to, we live in 2017. So
right.
These people are not they're not like people who live out in the woods and we don't come into contact with them. These are police officers who are pulling people of color over.
They're teachers, they're guidance counselors, they're pharmacists,
they're firemen,
they're doctors,
they're nurses.
They're literally all over.
They're all over the place. They're loan officers who
right.
have the authority to tell
right.
you, no, you are not eligible for a home. These are people who affect our everyday lives and people we have to come in contact with every single day. So that's why this conversation is so important.
So like I said, these are in no particular order. And this is just kind of I sat down and was thinking of some ways. I'm sure Sis will have some input as well. But we just kind of wanted to think about some things that we can do in response to what's happening. So number one, the first order of business is that we should be honest with ourselves and our feelings and give ourselves time and space to process them. I thought that was key because, the fact of the matter is this is some heavy stuff going on. I don't think we should glaze over the fact that it's going to take some time and intentional energy for us to make, not necessarily make sense, but just be intentional about thinking through some of these things. And when I say being intentional about, take breaks when you need to, take a walk at work, set boundaries, going back to what we said in previous episodes, that reacting versus responding, which is actually number 3 on the list. But just going back to, when you're confronted with things, trying to check yourself emotionally, not saying that you cannot have emotional responses, but just being more conscious about the ways in which you respond and giving yourself space and time to respond safely and appropriately.
And giving yourself the space to even acknowledge that you feel a way about it.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to, it's I think some people might try to suppress it or they're it bothers them, but they don't really want to harp on it or what. It's okay to acknowledge that you feel a way about this.
And it's okay to tell people that you're not ready. You know what I'm saying? Because I know,
talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? At work, people will just come and gather around the Keurig and think that we're just going to sit down and have a conversation. But I think it's okay and more than fair for you to say, I'm not really in the space to talk about this right now. Maybe we can, revisit it later this week. But as of right now, I'm still trying to deal with what's going on and how it impacts me and my family and my life. So don't necessarily feel like you have to take on the responsibility to sit through conversations that you don't really want to have.
Right. You can enjoy your Bustelo alone.
Absolutely. It's okay for you to say, I don't really want to talk about this right now. If that's where you are. Now, if you are ready to talk about it, I think some of the other things that are further down on this list might help with that.
Yep.
So I think number 2, being armed with information and being critical of the information that we receive is like really, really key. Don't just be a consumer of the media, but utilize different platforms to vet and critique what you're hearing, and also add to the conversation in productive ways. If you feel like your perspectives are not being represented, the internet and has afforded us all the opportunity to have a platform to kind of say what it is that's on our heart and to get people to be aware of what our perspectives are and how we see the world. So I think that it's useful to take advantage of those. Also, we should always also be conscious. We should be intentional about educating ourselves about our rights and options. This is this. I was thinking about all my babies that are going back to college and graduate school when I wrote this, because, needless to say, this weekend happened on a college campus. So college campuses are normally a place where there is freedom there for people to express their differing perspectives. But within that freedom, there's also like responsibilities and guidelines and boundaries that make sure that we can all have productive conversations in safe spaces. I think that if you're going to be a student, if you're going to be a student at a campus in any way, you should learn about what your campus's rules are and regulations and what your rights are. Not necessarily, so that you can be prepared in the event that someone tries to, deny you those rights that you have.
Same in the workplace. Like,
Absolutely.
You need to make sure you're reading your handbooks. I know it's something that we generally just click like, all right, I read it, and you want to move on about your business. Read the handbooks. Read and know all of the information behind whatever school you're attending, whatever job you're getting ready to start, whatever the case, you need to inform yourself. And like Keia said, the internet is full of information, sometimes too much information, which is why, like she said, you want to be critical of what you're reading and make sure that you're ingesting the right things and not the wrong things. But you need to keep yourself informed. Use the internet for what it should be used for. Inform yourself and read up. There's so many links, so many articles, verified articles that will be able to help you to understand what's going on a little bit better, so that when you're involved in a conversation like this, it's okay for you to say this is some bullshit. Like Keia said, if your views are not being represented, but you need to be able to back up why this is some bullshit.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, be able to explain your stand.
And to that point, like, that's so key. I'm glad you said that, because it's not just limited to college campuses, but everywhere we go, especially in workplaces, those of us who are in unions or, protected by, you have rights. Make sure that you know what those are so that you can operate within them, but also so that you will know when someone's trying to deny you those rights.
Exactly.
Information is also especially key because we can find refuge in history. Ironically enough, history affords us countless examples of people of color who persisted in doing their work despite hate-based ideologies and white supremacy. So I think it would be awesome. I don't know. One of the things that I can kind of take comfort in is reading up on all of the stories and allowing history to inspire me and my strategies for progression and working through all of this crazy. One of my favorite Richard Wright quotes is, whenever my environment had failed to support or nourish me, I had clutched at books. Well, I'm a nerd, so I feel like, maybe that's why this speaks to me so much. But one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever received is that one thing that no one will ever be able to take away from you is knowledge and information and what you know. And, as cliche as it is, like, knowledge is in fact power, and we actually can, arm ourselves with information to make sure that, the choices that we make in response to the things that are going on in our society are as informed as possible. And, as such will be, productive and useful. So reacting versus responding, we've said that once. We've said that 45,000 times on this show, because I really think that is
We'll say it 45,000 more.
Exactly, because it's really like a key. It's so critical and so clutch and like to this whole adulting thing, because a part of being...
I'm still working on it.
Me too. A part of being an adult is absolutely being able to check your emotions and your feelings, because, left unchecked, they will run you. And
Oof. Oof.
I am a witness to that. Listen, I will sit up in this house in my feelings for hours on end before I say, listen to Keia.
In my head, sis.
Like, listen, sis, you have got to get up out of this dark room and do something about it. Like, so, yes, finding ways to manage our emotions and responding appropriately when confronted with ridiculous things. The bottom line is, most of us do not have the luxury of dropping everything and taking to the streets. Like, we don't have the luxury of just like, I don't have the luxury of saying, F this. I don't have to work. I don't have to be put up with these white people. I don't have to put up with all this crazy. I don't have the luxury to do that because my rent is going to be due every month by the 10th. Niggas still got to go to work and pay bills and go to class and do the things that we got to do. So it's really important that we find ways to organize and resist that will not compromise our goals, because, you know, that's what they want. To borrow from Khaled, like, they don't want to see us out here doing what we have to do. And they're really kicking up all this mess to keep us stagnant and keep us from growing and keep us from progressing. So it's important that we keep that in mind. And when we want to go upside their heads, we have to be very, very conscious of what that will cost us in the long run. And I'm not saying that going upside their heads will not be the appropriate response. Or I'm just saying sometimes it will be. But I'm saying it's your job to think about that and assess that for yourself before you just fly off the handle and, check somebody's chin.
Because there's a time, like, don't get us, we're not telling you.
Please say it,
that
sis,
there are not times when people don't deserve to catch these hands.
Listen, because
but
the
you just need to make sure that the arrest is going to be worth it.
They will always be available. The hands will never be far. You understand what I'm saying?
And one thing that I've evolved in as I've become more and more of an adult, is that when I am in an altercation with somebody, I stop and I say to myself, jail is not a fun place. I've been there. It's not great. I swear to you all, like, it doesn't give you like anything. Like, you don't have no points. You don't have no extra juice. Like, jail is gross. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's not a fun place. It's uncomfortable. Don't go there. You know what I'm saying? And you have to make sure. And then also don't give them your power. Don't give these ignorant people your power. A friend of mine was telling me a story today, actually, about this weekend where there was a young gentrifier in Bed-Stuy who was antagonizing a black man, a very peaceful black man, to the point where he started to raise his voice and he was like, yo, get out of here, white girl. And she stepped in to try to diffuse the situation, especially as a woman, and like try to get this girl out of here. The girl had pure evil in her eyes. She was enjoying riling this black man up. Like, she was enjoying it. She was enjoying riling this black man up, to the point where my friend was like, she had to drop all her calm and be like, yo, get out of here.
Right.
Get out of here. Like, go away. You just moved to this neighborhood. Don't come in here starting no problems. Be respectful of people and get the fuck out of here. Nobody invited you here. Nobody asked you to be here. And sometimes it's okay for you to give people what they need, but just make sure that it's not going to be to the detriment of yourself.
Right. Because, I mean, a part of adulting is considering what you got to lose.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be conscious. You have to be conscious of what you have to lose. And there's so many times. Listen, did I tell y'all the story about the time I was getting ready to fight the lady in the parking garage in my apartment?
No.
I think
yes, you did. Yes, you did. You did. You told us. You did it as a petty peeve with the car.
Right. So
yes.
Those are the moments, you know what I'm saying, when it gets really high, you have to think about, a lot of times I think about my life. What helps me is thinking about things in terms of headlines. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would the headline be if I was to get out and drag that lady out of her Hyundai and drag her all over that parking garage? What would the headline read? PhD, recent PhD. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I just feel like I have
wild black animal,
you know what I'm saying?
drags poor white woman out of her Hyundai Sonata.
Think about what you got to lose. And for you, sis, I mean, you got a kid. Like, there are things that we have to consider what it will cost us. That's really what's you know what I'm saying? Like, what it will cost us. So I'm not saying not to respond. I'm just saying to think about ways that you can respond that will not compromise what you have.
Yourself real quick.
That's all we ask.
Yep.
And we're not.
Did I tell y'all the story about the white girl who called me a nigger in 7th grade?
No.
Okay. Maybe I said it on Jade and XD. Well, okay. So there was a white girl who called me a nigger, and yes, with the ER, in school. And so I thought to myself, first of all, I've always gone to like predominantly minority schools, so that's where she already had it fucked up. But I was like, okay, so I could beat your ass right here, and then you won't ever say anything to me again, or I can handle this a different way. So this girl happened to have one leg longer than the other. Yeah, I did tell this on Jade and Keia. She had one leg longer than the other. She was known for like having this limp when she walked in school.
Sis.
She called me a nigger. Fair game.
Bruh.
So I called her Inch for the rest of the year. And when I tell you, I went in on this girl. I told her if she walked too fast, she was going to walk in circles. Like, I just went in on her. So I was like, I could beat your ass and like get suspended, which, you know, it happens. It's happened to me before. It can happen again. It's a couple days off. Or I could ruin your life forever. And that's what I did. And I hope people are still calling her Inch to this day. And then there was Old Navy, where I was an adult. You remember Old Navy with a lady who said she was going to kick Noah in the head when she was 4 months?
Yes.
Yes, I did react there. I tried to kill this lady, but I did have a moment where I stopped and said, me and my husband are both about to go to jail right now for fighting this couple. And yeah, there was a lady who told me she was going to kick Noah in the head. It's a long story. I'm not even going to go into it right now, but just know that, I did react. But I did have a moment where I stopped and said, okay, I don't want to go to jail and my child be parentless. So
there you go. I think
things to lose. And to that, number 4 is to that, I guess in the same vein of that, don't avoid conversations about race, but use the this is not a word, but I made it a uncomfortability. Okay. Like, use that discomfort. I should have just said discomfort. What the hell? Use the discomfort that surrounds these conversations to your advantage, and find productive ways to educate and build awareness about race and privilege and what it feels like to be a person of color when you have to deal with these. Yeah. So a lot of times, I mean, ignorance, man. I think the basis of all of this behavior is ignorance. Like a lot of it is hatred. Most of it is hatred, I guess, but hatred and ignorance is a dangerous cocktail, right? And fear. Yes. A horrible cocktail, which results in people losing their lives senselessly, like Heather Heyer did. You can carry, much like Jade carried the little girl and called her Inch. Like, you could have. Are you using DC slang now? What? Yeah. What is it? You just said carried.
No, you didn't let me finish my sentence.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't mean it in the way that carry means in DC.
Oh.
Oh, girl, you just got really out.
Sorry.
You're just irritating. Anyway, as I was saying, much like Jade took the opportunity to terrorize this girl. Like, she will never forget. She will never forget this. She will never forget that. And she probably will never call another person a nigga again. And you can use those kind of, like, find way. We are smart. We are a talented people. Like, people of color, we have the range to get these white folks together in ways that they will never, ever forget. And take the opportunity to really educate them, because they really don't know how dumb they are most of the time. I remember when I was at UConn as a graduate student, I don't know if I told this story before, but if I had, just roll with it. I was in a seminar class, and we had to work in pairs. It was literally like the second week of class. I was already stressed out because strangers, y'all know. I was like, I don't know these people. But we had to work in pairs, and we had to do this project. I don't even remember what the project was, but I know that I worked with this larger, I mean, I guess that's inconsequential. Her size didn't really have anything to do with it, but I'm just trying to paint the picture. This bigger white girl, she was in the doctoral program in marriage and family therapy. And I worked with her on this project. We were supposed to meet in the library to do, I guess, to kind of get together on our project and work on it, whatever. So as I'm arriving, we had like booked a little study room in the library for us to work. And as I'm arriving into the library, she's on the phone.
Okay. And
I come into the room and she's like, hey, come on in, have a seat. I'll be off the phone in a minute. I'm just talking to my friend. He's black, right? That's what she said to me. And I was like, oh, hell. I was just bracing myself for the stupid.
For her, the rest of her ignorance.
Right, for the stupid that was just getting ready to come into my life. So
that was just the amuse bouche.
Yes, like she was literally just like, "Oh, okay, welcome to dumb. Welcome to ignorant." So
she's like, "I can't wait to give you the whole meal."
She's like, "He's black, right?" It was an appetizer. So I guess he says, "Oh, what does she look like?" She starts describing me to this black person that she's speaking to on the phone.
No, in front of you,
in front of me, like I'm literally standing there, and
who was this nigga she's talking to?
God only knows, right? So I later learned that she's dated black dudes. I date black dudes, so I guess that felt like.
Does she have an I date black dudes haircut?
She did. She had that little asymmetrical bob.
Yes,
that bob with the long in the front.
I complain to the manager haircut. Supercuts haircut.
I didn't even think about that until you said it. Yes, honey, with those terrible highlights with them dark roots.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway. So she starts to describe me to this young man, right? She's like, Keia, she's from New York. She's tall and she's black, but she's not a black girl. She's a white black girl. And then she just like, she just goes to, she's, her hair, she's got long hair and, blah, blah, blah. Like she's, but I don't know. All the rest of the stuff I don't even remember because at that point I was like seeing red, right? I was like, yes. I was ready to be like, excuse me, bitch. Like, I was like, what? Like, all right. So I was really like, I let her get off the phone. She was, I didn't even, she even told me what his name was. He said hi and all this other stuff. And I'm just looking at her like, you need to hang up the phone. Right, we have to have a conversation, right? So so she gets off the phone and she's just like, I'm like, what exactly makes me a white black girl? Like, is it because I'm in this, is it because I'm in this graduate program with you? Is it because I got on these jeans from the Gap? Is it because, like, just help me to understand. Is it because I'm from White Plains? Like, just help me to understand why exactly, what about me makes me a white black girl and not a black girl? To which she responds, right? Oh, no. You're taking this the wrong way. I meant it as a compliment. So I said,
white superiority.
I said, I'm gonna go right now. I need to, I'm gonna go right now. I will see you tomorrow. Like, I was like, I cannot stay here because I needed to set a boundary. You were honest with yourself and your feelings. I needed to set a boundary because I really saw myself mollywopping this girl in the periodical section where we were sitting. I visualized myself, right? So, I went and I called my mama, which is usually my first course of action when I'm upset. And I told my mama what happened. And she was just like, oh, no, Keia. And I was like, I want to go home. I don't want to be here. UConn is a terrible place. There's white people here. They say horrible things to you. It's rude, blah, blah, blah. And Rhonda was like, no, girl, you're not leaving. Because what you're going to do is take this occasion to get this white girl together in a way that she will never, ever, ever forget.
I love Miss Rhonda.
She talked me through it. And I was able to the next day see the young lady and really give her a point by point analysis of how she was trash. And she should never, ever speak to people in such a manner. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I know that, by the end of the year, she was,
dating white dudes?
No, by the end of the year, she was writing me emails telling me how much I changed her life. And she thanked me so much because I changed her practice, and she couldn't believe that she was going to go into marriage and family therapy with those kinds of biases, and how she shuddered at the thought that, she could be out there, projecting her own insecurities on her potential clients. And she thanked me for getting her together. And I had to thank my mother because, I was ready to go upside her head. But my mother was the one who helped me to see that it was my responsibility in that moment to help her to see the light. Now, I'm cautious here because I don't feel like it's a black person's responsibility to teach white people anything. But at the same time, I feel like when these kinds of things happen, we do have we are put in a unique position to build awareness in a way that reading a book can't. So
from personal experience. And the thing too is that like you said, this is an educational experience for them, and it's not our responsibility to educate them, but it's also our duty as Black people or people of color in general to not perpetuate any stereotypes that they may have. They expect us to react in aggression, and sometimes aggression is the necessary reaction. However, there are times, such as what happened with you, sis, where you have to take that opportunity to let somebody, to tell somebody about themselves in a way that's not using your hands.
Right.
And I think her reaction to you was actually very positive. It was a super positive outcome.
Right.
Because if she is going into family therapy, she needs a very wide...
She needed that reality check. That was real.
Absolutely.
And in hindsight, I can say that, I'm grateful that I was able to be used in that moment to give her the reality check that she needed. And I like to think that me cursing her out, because, I had to slip a few in there. Just being myself. I had me getting her.
Your big ass.
I said, that's exactly. I was like, so how would you feel if I judged you for your big ass back? I didn't judge you for your big ass back. No, did I? Did I shame you for being as large as you are? No. I had to.
Did I say because she has this large back and this haircut that I know she buys her Family Dollar? I did not. I had to, and that's what I'm saying. I took, because that's, we, as people of color, we have creative license. You know what I'm saying? We can do it in such a way. We can always finesse it. Real shade throws itself. You can absolutely take these occasions to get people together in a way where they will be on their way home. Like, did she just come for me? Yes, I did. Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But, in
a way where you have to question it later. Exactly. You got to think about it like the Game of Thrones episode.
And she probably tells that story now, and that was 10 years ago. But I needed her to know that because she had got her back blown out by a few niggas named LaMarcus, she was not in any way able. She was not in any way able to come for me. You know what I'm saying? Or question or say anything about what kind of Black girl she thought I was because she had been to a couple of barbecues and fixed a few plates. I don't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole point of number 4. Don't avoid awkward conversations and run the awkward, turn the awkward right back to him and give it to him the only way that we know how, if that makes sense.
Yep. We can always do it. We're so eloquent when we cuss people out. The thing about Black people is we're so creative.
It's an art.
We're funny, and we know how to smoothly cuss somebody out like butter,
effortlessly,
like Hennessy XO. We know how to. It's smooth the way that we cuss you out to the point where you have to reflect on it and think about it later and question whether or not you just got cussed out.
Indeed,
that is a true test if you know how to cuss somebody out. I think too. Another thing too, sis, is that. I want to make sure that we acknowledge the fact I want to acknowledge the fact that we need to acknowledge the allies, because
indeed.
I don't want to all white people, because I hate that. Don't be a white person coming to me talking about not all white people. No, I don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. Just you prove yourself as an ally through your actions. You prove yourself as an ally through your words, through how you react to the things that are happening to people of color, by your acknowledging the fact of what's happening to people of color without putting yourself in the mix. And that's when you're a true ally. And so I think that in you responding to this lady in a proper way, you were able to make her more of an ally, because the thing about it is, let's say she has a Black family, she would have been giving them all kinds of wrong advice. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? She would have given them all kinds of wrong counseling because she's not aware, because she's never going to have to experience it. And that's a test to a true ally. They know that they don't have to experience it, but they use that privilege for the betterment, for the help, for helping Black people. And no, they are not. I'm not calling them saviors either, because I don't believe in that either. But allies are important, and we have to acknowledge that they do exist.
Totally.
And so, and you responding like that, you were able to properly educate this woman and change her viewpoint so that she's not a danger to our society, because there's so many.
Well said. The last one, number 5, it starts small. All of this hatred is daunting and overwhelming, and it often feels like there is nothing that we can do to stop it. Don't accept powerlessness and figure out ways that you can affect change within your own sphere of influence. I don't believe, we have to remember, We have to remember that no contribution is really a small contribution, and every little bit helps. So I'm thinking, think of ways that you can make a difference. Get a group of friends together over brunch, or have a dinner party, invite the girls over for wine. And while y'all unpack the happenings with Lawrence and Issa and Molly and them, to also talk about ways that you can make a change. You know what I'm saying? Like, Keisha's having a birthday party this coming Sunday, and instead of us just sitting around and cackling and talking about niggas and flies, she's going to exactly. She's going to utilize the expertise in the room. You know what I'm saying? That she said that she has a group of friends that all are, professional women with all kinds of expertise and subject matter knowledge. Why not bring all of that to the table and get something off the ground, whether it be community service project or a business idea or even something, an event or something. There's things that we can do within our own little spheres of influences, like Naya in the shout out to my sis segment, starting an Amazon wish list, like doing those kinds of projects are ways that we can, heal ourselves and figure out while we're working on ways that we can affect larger change. There are ways that we can chip away at what some of these other issues are and support one another as we deal with all of this nonsense that is the world right now.
Ooh. Supporting our community is so key in business, and supporting doesn't mean necessarily always just buying from or shouting out Instagram or whatever, but sometimes those collaborations are amazing. So I think what Keisha's doing is great, because you never know what each other's expertise is going to bring together to create something bigger. So it's so key that while we're investing in our own brands and our own businesses and our own education and our own whatever we're focusing on, that we branch that out and talk to other people within our community so we can continue to grow.
Right. And ideas and events and projects are one thing, but in addition to that, we should also be lifting each other up, whether it just be like a compliment, like a genuine, heartfelt, like, sis, you are wearing those braids. Like, just like,
you never know what that can do for somebody.
You never know, you know what I'm saying? Helping out a little, y'all know I'm always speaking to I don't speak to strangers, but I will speak to somebody's child all the time. And I will, just strike up a conversation and tell a little girl that she's brilliant and, those kinds of things. Like, you are smart. Did anybody tell you that? You are smart as heck. Look at you. Yep. Like little things like you see I see little girls or on the train or whatever, and they'll be on the phone or on the iPad. I'm like, you're just figuring that all by yourself. Look at you. You are brilliant. Like, I was just like little things like that. Because we need to hear those kinds of affirmations and messages, because without them, all we have left is what they say about us on the news and everywhere else. So.
Yeah, look at that little white girl from that White Savior movie. Talking about you was kind, you was smart, you was important. Look what that did for her. When she came from an ignorant ass family. Sure so, and that is a White Savior movie. Let's just call it what it is. Oh. But, we know what the original, so we know who the true heroes are in that story. But
celebrate yourself.
Celebrate yourselves and celebrate each other and celebrate our children and just celebrate our communities by investing and encouraging and acknowledging and everything that's going to continue to build us as a people.
And that's it for the kitchen table. We didn't even talk about snacks. We were so depressed about the state of the world. We didn't even talk about snacks.
With me being sick, I don't even really have an appetite. But I had a delicious breakfast of home fries. I didn't eat a lot of it, but it was like home fries with bell pepper and onion. And then it had like some chopped beets in it and some kale. And it was seasoned well with some hot sauce. And obviously that's not the seasoning, but I topped it with some hot sauce and an egg and a couple pieces of steak. Delicious.
Well, that's classy.
What'd you eat? Because you working from home.
I ain't working from home. I haven't eaten yet though, but I do have some chicken marinating in the refrigerator. I'm going to bake it. Ooh. I'm going to have some cauliflower rice with it. And I probably will just saute some spinach or something quick, fast. But yes, I'm excited about my little din.
Yes, I'm excited for you. My cousin told me about this recipe, a loaded cauliflower.
Ooh.
She did like the cauliflower rice, but she did it like a loaded potato.
Oh my. Delicious. Well, you have to tell me about that, because I cauliflower the rice, honey. That is my joint right there.
Oh, it's just like a loaded potato. It's got, and then
like sour cream and cheese and bacon and stuff.
Well, do Greek yogurt instead of sour cream because you're focusing on the hips. You know what I'm saying? And then you can put like a low fat cheese, maybe like a mozzarella or something, and then some bacon because who cares? And you need it.
Bacon is for us. Bacon is for us.
And a little Greek yogurt. A little Greek yogurt instead of sour cream, and some salt, pepper. Nigga, it's lit.
'Tis lit. I'm doing it. Remember, y'all, this week's episode of Getting Grown is brought to you by Form Beauty. We are all too familiar with the struggle of finding the perfect hair care situation for our curls, coils, and twists and things. That's why we F with Form heavy, like Effie White. Just like their big brother brand Bevel, the folks at Form were tired of seeing the women that they love struggle to find hair care that was personal, effective, and high quality. Form is the premium hair care collection completely committed to making every girl's hair journey easy, like Sunday morning. Form affords your hair a safe space that's totally free of suspect chemicals. Every ingredient in the entire Form collection is thoroughly vetted to provide top performance without ever compromising the health and vitality of your strands. Form's Protect Heat Serum certainly cut my blowout time substantially and left my hair feeling moisturized but not weighed down. Additionally, my twist out is currently flourishing thanks to Form's Twist and Define styling creams. Go ahead and get you some. You can get 10% off your entire order when you visit formbeauty.com/grown. The discount will be applied at checkout. That's formbeauty.com/grown. Get personal and fortify your edges with Form.
Honestly?
Truly.
It's time for the Honesty Box.
Hey.
So, our Honesty Box this week comes from a lady by the name of Dilemma.
Oh.
Yeah. She says, "Hey, Jade and Keia, I love your podcast." Stop. Don't do that. "Hey, Jade and Keia." Sorry, I had a FaceTime come in. Okay. "I love your podcast. You ladies are inspirational and my live, love, laugh for the day.
Oh, yeah.
I have a dilemma." I know. Come on now. "I have a dilemma. My husband, me, and my 3 boys will soon be moving from the Midwest to the Southwest.
Okay.
However, my husband's brother and girlfriend and son, who's 3 years old, will also be moving with us. We recently found out that he's been hitting his girlfriend, basically domestic violence.
Oh, Lord.
He has put 2 knots on her head, hitting her and closing the trunk on her head are just 2 instances. Wow, shit. We also found out he had a warrant and an arrest from an incident between them 2 that he lied to us about. He texted me last week to let me know he punched her in the face and that, she texted me last week to let me know that
what?
He punched her. I know. I was like, wait, that he punched her in the face and that he will not be moving with us if we go. We have already gotten approved for a house there and have put our fees down to hold the house. My husband, me, and the girlfriend will be on the 1-year lease. My husband stepped in and confronted his brother on the issue. However, the brother got defensive and angry and basically changed the story and then had the nerve to say to my husband, 'Did you witness it?' My husband told his brother to leave our house and they have not spoken on the issue since because the brother is not getting it and keeps reverting the conversation to something else. Most of the family knows he does this and has also brought this to our attention. I've even tried to talk to her, but she continues to make excuses for him and says she will leave him. I asked was she scared and she said not anymore. She told him to get help in counseling and he makes it like she's the one with the issue. That's what niggas do. Fast forward to today and she's talking about buying his plane ticket and him still going. My husband already was skeptical because he knows how his brother is a liar, very secretive, and has hit every woman he's been with in the past. My husband also said if he cannot get through to his brother and he will not admit or try to get help, he will have no other choice but to get the law involved because that's the only option for his brother to wake up and get help. Not only that, we have kids and do not want the kids to see this in our household. Their son has already been exposed to it, and we can see that he's also picking up some of his daddy's habits. We know there has to be some mental issues within and know he may need to seek a counselor or other mental health person, but until he admits and seeks help, what would you ladies do? Signed, Dilemma.
Jesus.
That is a lot. That's a lot.
Let the words of my mouth, meditation of my heart. Oh, I don't even know what to do. I feel like I should pray before I respond to this question, but Jesus. Okay. I feel like your husband is talking sense. I mean, if it were me,
absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like your husband is handling the situation much like I would. And I would be, I think I would defer to him. And as far as your relationship with the girlfriend, I would say that you would continue to be a support to her, but you have a responsibility to your sons, your children. So if you need to enforce a boundary there and let her know that I'm here for you and for your child, but I will not allow your brother-in-law
in my house
with his carrying on. That's just the bottom line.
No.
That's just the bottom line.
You are not, you're, especially if you're not, if you're not admitting fault, B, if you're not planning to get any help, which you're not going to get any help because you're not admitting any fault. And this is serious. Like, this is really serious. This is not something small. Like, this nigga won't stop leaving the toilet seat up. Like, it's not anything like that. Like, he's putting his hands on her. He slammed her head in a trunk. That is crazy. So,
why was she in the trunk? Jesus, Lord have mercy.
I don't even.
So listen,
this whole thing is nuts.
You got to get, first of all, I should have prefaced this by saying, I would strongly encourage you to seek professional help. Maybe if you were to get, I'm sure there are shelters and other organizations that have resources for battered women. And perhaps if you were to take the initiative in getting the girlfriend the help that she needs, maybe she knows that she needs help and what she's, would appreciate you supporting her and taking those steps toward that, as far as, getting her the help that she needs and helping her to see that her first obligation is to protecting her son and herself, and helping her to kind of see, I guess identify what her priorities are and acting on those first. But yeah, I still feel like you have every right to drop the hammer and say, not on my watch. That nigga is not coming in here. Like, that's it.
He's not coming. And if she can't respect the fact that he cannot come and she's not willing to go without him, then you have to let her know, listen, I'm willing to help you get some help, but I can't have that in my house because your first priority
and
is
don't
your
sign
family.
no lease. Nah. That's
no,
the worst thing.
No.
Like you want to get this all squared away before y'all sign these papers.
She might hit you with the okie doke, and then that nigga shows up, and that would be a really bad situation. Another thing too is, okay, let's say in another scenario that the girlfriend is willing to leave without him, and she does not invite him to come, and she tells him that he can't come until he gets help. If you all do proceed, and she does go with you guys, you mentioned their son, your nephew, having a couple of similar signs to his dad's behavior, and you have children, so you want to also encourage her. As Keia said, her child is her first priority, and getting him out of that environment is number one, because it's things he's witnessing, which is probably why he's acting out. But also, a lot of these, they're learned behaviors, but they're also ingrained behaviors. They're also behaviors that are inherited. And there are children counselors out there as well. And she might want to look into getting some counseling for her child so that she can nip this in the bud early.
Real talk. I hope that I'll be praying, like, legit, for all parties involved. I mean, we are not professionals, but we appreciate that you value our opinion. And I hope that, you would seek some professional counsel and advice before you make decisions as far as the welfare of yourself and your family, and keep us posted. I mean, if you want to give us an update, we'd be happy to, read it and share it if you would like us to do that as well. But either way, no matter what, we'll be praying and hoping that, this matter can be resolved in a peaceful way. And most of all, that this young lady can get the help that she needs for her and her son.
I deserve,
I deserve to be loved.
Shout out to Mama D. Big Deborah, we miss you, sis.
All the time. We do.
Yeah, man.
You were a fun time.
You were a good time.
I'm not really loving this Love and Hip Hop Hollywood.
I'm lost. I feel like I saw like the first episode and I haven't seen the episode since. I probably would try to watch tonight's episode, but I can't make no promises. But yeah,
I might give it one more go. But if it doesn't do anything for me, then I'm done with it.
I don't know if I don't like you say. Yeah, I don't know that I really care about these people. Like, no. I don't know. As much as the Atlanta cast gets on my nerves, I can honestly say that, you know, I'm interested in what's going on in Rashida's life. Like, I care about her. I want her to do well. I can't. Beautiful. But I think like Moniece is crazy and
as cat shit.
And I, you know, her baby daddy is irritating. His voice gets on my nerves. I can't think of one character on the Hollywood cast that I really can say I give a crap about.
No, fuck nigga haircuts stress me out. Lil Fizz has one. But Moniece is literally crazy as cat shit. Like, she's out of her mind.
And I feel like, Mona? Mona is exploiting. There are some clear...
Oh, Jocelyn was right.
Yes, there are some clear mental health issues on the table when it comes to Moniece. She makes for good TV, but I mean, sometimes like my conscience won't allow me to enjoy some of the crazy because I'm like, this is a problem. This young lady is dealing with some things.
Oh, and she's dealing with some things and has not addressed them.
Yo. Hey, Mr.
Like,
Softy. Shout out to New York.
I know. Hey, Brooklyn. We are recording at a decent hour today, by the way. The ice cream truck is not out at midnight. It is not the trap truck.
Stranger things have happened.
Listen, you already know about bootleg liquor. You know who's crazy I can be invested in? Tommy's from from Atlanta.
True.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Tommy. I really do. Somebody's getting a strawberry shortcake.
All right,
now.
sis. So Black women self-care. Let's do it.
Black women self-care. So it's pretty simple this week, but I actually do have one. So I told you all about all the events. So on Sunday, it was my only free day and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous outside and I was sick. But aside from that, I was like, I'm going to enjoy the day. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get some sun and be happy that I don't have to work for one day this week. And I decided to lay in the bed all day instead. And it was necessary. Like, I needed to do that. My body was like, girl, because every time I tried to get up, it just wasn't happening for me. And so I listened to my body and I laid in the bed and I watched the entire first season of Underground.
Nice.
Which I'm so disappointed that it was canceled, and I really hope that it gets picked back up. I was live tweeting it by myself. It was fine. I had some people chime in. I didn't care because everybody's probably like, girl, we watched this 2 years ago. Such a good show. But it was everything that I needed. Laying in the bed all day and not obligating myself to one single thing, not washing a dish, not cooking a meal. I listened to my body and I did exactly what it needed.
That's awesome sauce, man. Fantastic.
What about you?
I have been being more intentional about getting myself, like yours, I've been trying to get more rest and be more intentional about getting to bed at a decent hour and being more tuned into a schedule. So I've really been doing well in terms of trying to keep up with my little workouts and trying to make it like a part of my day. So I think that's my Black woman self-care. I've just been being really just as serious as I am about getting to work and getting behind my desk and on time and doing what I got to do. I'm trying to bring that same level of serious to getting into bed at a decent hour.
That's it.
Because it's absolutely necessary. So get your rest, Black women self-care.
Get your rest. That's the theme this week.
Get your rest. Rest yourself.
And I want to be very responsible of the things I say to my sister. Because everybody know I can be real petty. P-E to the T-T-Y, honey.
It's time for petty peeves.
Hey.
Let us celebrate the petty of our hearts and minds.
Put your petty on parade.
So, my petty peeve is kind of brief. I don't really have... It's not a huge one. It is kind of petty, but it's not like break your neck petty. And listen, again, we're still not telling my mom about the show, especially now because this petty peeve is kind of about her. So, my petty peeve is that I don't like what people read to me.
Oh, I've been guilty of that.
But I mean, okay, yes, but it's a little different because I don't know.
Because we're reviewing stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
But
fair enough.
I don't like when people read to me. I also had a boss. Oh my gosh. Like my first boss ever. I loved her, but she was irritating and she did things to get on my nerves. One of those things being she would stand over my desk. Like I would be looking at the screen. She would come behind me, look at the screen, and then read over my shoulder as if I'm not looking at the screen myself. I don't like to be read to because I can read for myself. Yes. My mom has this habit. God bless her heart. I love her. This is not in any way saying that I do not love my mother. And she doesn't even know this, so that's why y'all can't tell her. She has a habit of reading out loud, specifically like if there's like a weather advisory on the television screen, or a traffic sign or something. She will read it aloud. When we went to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, she was reading.
She did not read all the. No,
it's just like, girl. I mean,
that's like 4 hours of reading.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not something. I don't even think she realizes it. I think just subconsciously she just starts reading it because she's not. I don't know. Maybe it's the teacher in her, but sometimes she reads, not the whole time, but there were certain things that she just reads aloud. But in like when the weather thing comes across the TV, she will. This is a flash flood warning is in effect until 10 p.m. for Prince George's County, Montgomery County. I'm just like, sis, we got it. We can see. We can all
everybody got the alert.
Everyone is in the room looking at the same screen, girl. We don't need you to read it. God bless your heart.
There's an Amber Alert. There's a white Bronco.
Girl, she reads.
License plate.
And I feel like, I don't know. I'm afraid because, I am turning into her. That's one thing that I don't want to pick up. God knows. But yes. I don't like it when you read to me.
Pray about it.
I can read for myself. That's my petty peeve. What's yours, sis?
I do hate when you're in a meeting and then there's a PowerPoint up and then somebody has somebody read what everybody's reading on the screen.
Help me.
I cannot stand it.
Help
it's very irritating. That is very irritating. My petty peeve this week actually comes from a listener, Kiana, who says, I have a petty peeve. It may just be me. It's not, which is why this is being read. But I hate, all caps, when I pull up at the gas station to get gas, the main purpose of gas stations, and it's always a nigga who do not pull up to the pump ahead when they know you behind them possibly getting gas. Nigga, have consideration and move your car up to the first pump, not the middle or the last. Where is the consideration? There is none. They only think about themselves. I share your petty. I really, truly wish that niggas would move their cars up and think about the line of cars they're going to create, or how you have to do all of these reverse, cha-cha slide
antics,
moves.
Right? You got to kickball change, right? You got to hit a quick 16 count so I can get to the pump because you can't move up.
You be mad diagonal because you got to reach the pump because some nigga decided he wanted to park in the middle.
Unacceptable.
So, or the ones who just don't pull all the way up when there's only 2 pumps and they don't pull all the way up, so the other person got to do all kinds of tricks. And something strange for a piece of change so that they can get some gas in their car. So I share your petty. I agree with you. Pull up. Anyway.
Pull up.
What's that say? Pull up. That is it.
That's all.
For Getting Grown with Jade and Keia.
Yeah, man. Be sure. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for the continued support. Thank you guys for hitting us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. We see each and every one of your comments and we appreciate the love. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to all. We get so much love. People are like, they're just getting caught up. I'm only on episode 5, but I love you. Thank you so much. Whenever you hear this, know that we really appreciate all of the support. Again, don't forget to support the Friend Zone Live this weekend, August 19th at the Tisch Auditorium in New York City. We'll be there, so come up and say hi. And yeah, that's all I got, sis. You got something else?
Nope. Make sure you check out all the links in the description box. Everybody buy a book.
Everybody buy a book.
Let's help her get over 1,000 books.
Indeed,
she doesn't have to just get 1,000. So everybody buy a book. Make sure you check out the link to Santana's pop-up and attend if you can. Try to snag a ticket before they're sold out. And again, support our brothers and sisters at the Friend Zone. by checking out the link in the description box and purchasing a ticket for that if you're in the New York City area. Outside of that, make sure that you're moisturizing
and drinking your water, and minding your business, because your black will crack if it's dry.
Bye.
Peace.